Welcome to the Seaman Podcast, a show where artists and musicians with an axe to grind throw things deep into the abyss of the Seaman. Transphobia, racism, ableism, anti-Semitism, sexism, and homophobia, it all gets dumped on the trash! How's it going, guys? Welcome to the motherfucking Seabin Podcast. It's me, everyone's favourite, big, voluptuous, delicious daddy is Big Tasty. And today I'm flying solo. I'm like Ellen MacArthur. You remember that fucking person who used to sail around in the yacht solo? It was called the B&Q because they could do it. I don't know why that came to my mind, but you know, brain fart, fuck it. Ellen MacArthur, come on the sea bin, talk to me. I wonder what Ellen MacArthur would throw into the sea bin. Probably like just being lonely, because they just fucking spent like all their time sailing solo across the fucking world in a yacht named after a subpar fucking DIY store. Anyway, that's beside the point. I'm flying solo today because I just came back literally yesterday from the first week stretch of the Helpless Occasion and Gold UK tour, which is going to continue this weekend coming in London, Portsmouth and Penryn. Make yourself known, get down there to New Cross Inn and to the festing and all that stuff. And I had every intention of recording episodes along the road. I had this idea I was going to record like maybe 15 minutes a day, talking about each day of the tour. And I had every intention of recording an episode with Stefan from Razor Eater, but then that never happened because they had to pull out of a bunch of shows. It was kind of a bit of a cursed little tour. It was a fun time, but yeah, I definitely would, coming back from those shows, I would want to throw in one-way systems. You know, let's go day by day. The first day in Bristol, what pissed me off and I would want to throw in the sea bin is like one-way systems through cities and venues that are impossible to load into. Because we played the Crown and it was like just a fucking nightmare to load the gear into, and it was all wet and slippery. And if we like missed the turning on the one-way system, then we'd have to like go back into traffic and wait another 40 minutes. I was like, my brother in Christ, why does it have to be this way? And then the second day, where were we? We were in Sheffield, proper swanky venue, had like a backstage area with showers and all that stuff. I would say what could go in the sea bin is easy hotels. Have you ever been to an easy hotel? But they had their toilet door was see-through. It was a piece of glass as a shitter door, and I never felt so exposed in my life. Like, I've shat on the doorsteps of fire stations and the side of the road and then inside tiny little cardboard boxes, but I never felt so exposed as to shit in a room where the walls and door were made out of see-through glass. There's no need for it. There's no need for... If you're sharing a room with someone, you're already bonding because this room is about the same size as a fucking Clark shoebox. You don't need to be also sharing that such a small space and then have your shitter door be see-through. I mean, let me fucking drop a log in peace, Jesus Christ. So that would be a thing I'd bin. Day 3, where were we? Day 3 was in Hull. We played a practice room called Gorilla Studio, so it wasn't like an actual venue, so that meant everyone was just smoking ciggies in the practice room. And I would say, if you're going to a punk gig and you're like smoking ciggies front row watching a band, don't do that, man, because I gotta go, and do you know how hard it is to go when you've got a lung full of fucking someone's dirty ciggy smoke? Just go outside. I know you're a punk and all that stuff and you want to have the freedom to do what you want, but someone's playing right in front of you. Don't blow a ciggy smoke in their face. That can get in the bin, absolutely. The next day after that, where were we? Hull, and then it was I've forgotten where we were after that. Fucking hell. Nottingham. We were in Nottingham. We were in Stock-on-the-Name Studios. That gig was really good. I'm trying to think. There's not really many shitters about that. Yeah, I would say venues that have like 3 flights of stairs, mate. If you're gonna make a venue, don't make it up 3 flights of stairs. Motherfucker, my back felt like I'd just been carrying a fucking bag of spanners for a marathon. It was not fun. So yeah, and then the Plymouth date didn't work out. A bunch of bands had to drop out. So I would say what could go in the C bin about that is probably trying to get a fucking train back from Plymouth to Cornwall during rail strikes time, after you've just done 5 days on the road and you're knackered and you're looking forward to playing a show, and then it didn't happen, so you have to get the train, but then it's delayed and everyone's is being really loud and smelly. So that's what I would throw into the bin. So I know I'm complaining a lot, but overall the tour was great and I'm looking forward to the next few shows. So that's what would have been sort of stretched out into an hour-long spiel, so, you know, maybe I've saved you some time. Either way, I decided to do another Agony Aunt episode, another Ask, you know, Dear Big Tasty episode, because I did one a few months back and people seem to actually quite like it. I was surprised because I find that when I talk on my own, I'm a bit of I don't really believe in myself very much. So when I'm just talking on my own in my room, I think, who in the fucking right mind is going to listen to this breathy, mouth-breathing, fat trolley? And apparently people do, so that's nice. So, you know, some of these are serious, some of these aren't serious. I'm going to approach each one, even the ones that are not serious, with the same amount of seriousness and respect I would give to the serious ones. Hopefully this is funny. There may be some conversations that are a bit challenging and triggering. I'll try to give warnings as and when. I don't know how this is going to go, but I will do my utmost. So let's see how we do, shall we? So the first one I've got here. Hold on, where is it? This is good, isn't it? Right, so, Dear Big Tasty, I would like to ask advice on the perfect grilled cheese. So starting things off with a cooking question. I feel like ever since the movie Chef came out, the Jon Favreau film, I feel like everyone and their fucking mum is a grilled cheese specialist, because they saw him make one in that film and they're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. You know, and there's nothing wrong with just sticking it in a Breville and just having a toasty like that. But here's how I would make a grilled cheese, and I'm going to talk about, well, I think the pitfalls are when some people might accidentally go a bit too far. There's a really funny video actually online of Gordon Ramsay making a grilled cheese, and he's trying so hard to be bougie that he absolutely shags it. He's got like pieces of bread that are like big fat doorstops, and like giant pieces of cheese that just proper hard cheeses that just ain't gonna melt. And he's got like a cast iron skillet that's ripping hot, and got proper brown butter in it, and he's like sticking it in and trying to melt it, and all that's happening is like the bread is burning and the cheese just is like just jizzing out fucking oil pre-cum all over the place and not melting. It looks fucking rank. But I would say the key to a good grilled cheese is probably less is more, right? So obviously you want to get your pan hot, get your bread, use whatever bread you like. I feel like with a grilled cheese, just some plain Hovis, some white bread's not a bad deal, you know. Whatever you like. I feel like if you're going to get a seeded bread, maybe the seed might burn and be a weird texture thing, you know, because it's going to be crunchy anyway from the grill, so you don't really need to have extra bits in there. But, you know, if you want to add more fibre to your diet, feel free, but it's not like you're going to have any trouble shitting because you're about to eat like 10 pounds of malted cheese. So get your pan hot, add in some neutral flavoured oil, like, you know, veg oil, canola oil, and then add your butter. And we're doing that because it stops the smoking point of the butter, stops the butter from burning. It just, you know, it's just a nicer time. Get your bread. You want to butter it, and then add some mayonnaise to it also. Mayonnaise makes it sounds weird, but it makes it dead crispy, and it adds a little bit of a sharpness to the thing. So you want to put it, you know, butter and mayo side down on the pan. Sometimes I feel like if you want to go a step further, like this is not necessary, but this is what I like to do, is to toast the other side of the bread first, so that it's toasted on the inside too. I feel like it makes for a nicer bite mouthfeel. But you don't have to do that. So let's just say that you have toasted it. So you've got a bit of toast. It should be like toasted on one side and then buttery and mayonnaise on the other side. Put the buttery and mayonnaise side down first, and then add on just some cheese. I feel like, get yourself some cheddars. Classic. I wouldn't go too mature. If it's bare crumbly, it's just not going to melt right. It's going to be oily and a bit fucking funky. So get some pussy cheddar. Like cheeseburger singles. I know like people shit on plastic cheese, but like it's made to melt. Like that's what it's made for. It's emulsified into an easily melted puck. So get some of that. Get some Swiss. You get some Munster. Get some Gruyere. Whatever cheese you have, whatever you got in the fridge. Don't use like ready grated because it's covered in powder, and that's just going to make it not so good. So get that shit on it, add your top bit of bread with the mayo and butter side facing up. You don't want it to be too hot, just monitor it, keep watching it. You don't want to flip it too much, you want to give it like one flip that bitch. Look to see how it's toasting, so find the hot spot of the pan, maybe add a bit more butter. If you got a lid for your frying pan, that's perfect, because you want to steam the cheese, melt that cunt, because sometimes it doesn't melt as fast as the toast be browning. But just keep doing that, maybe flip it one more time for good measure, pop that bitch on a plate, slice it in half, crunch it down and enjoy a nice diarrhea-inducing snack. But everyone knows how to do that shit, man. Or just fucking put 2 pieces of bread in a toaster, add your cheese in between those 2 bits of toast, and then pop it in the microwave for about 40 minutes, and you've got yourself a sloppy jalopy right there. Dear Big Tasty, I meant to choose shoes for poos, but accidentally clicked poos for shoes. Now I have shit shoes. I tried going barefoot, but all the gravel and broken glass from my city streets are cutting up my feet. I tried to wear poo shoes, but I kept tracking wet shit everywhere. No one wants to let me in their house anymore. Please help. Thank you, sweet corn between my corns. Yeah, I feel like, you need to be very precise with your clicks when you're choosing very important life decisions such as poos for shoes. I feel like maybe you need to acclimate your feet better to the streets. Maybe find yourself a nice inoffensive walk, one with the pavement's not too bad, and kind of walk around a bit with bare feet. Let yourself connect with nature. Because I saw a bloke on TikTok who walks around with bare feet, and the video was actually quite disgusting because he was like scraping his toenails on the floor, and it was like, ugh. But he said that after a while, your feet just kind of get their own calloused soles that act like the bottom of boots, so it kind of works out. And I think maybe just be perceptive of where you're taking steps. If you see a pile of glass, maybe cut a wide berth. I feel like if you're not enjoying wearing shit on your feet as shoes, then I feel like going barefoot really is the only option for you. And I think you have to go full hippie. You have to go full Burning Man, Woodstock, free soul, and just let them fucking dogs out. Let them bark free in the streets. Just be mindful of where you step in. Don't step in any shit. Don't step in any syringes. Don't want to get any tetanus. Don't want any broken glass. Maybe try going for a walk in nature. Maybe let the natural duff of the forest floor cushion your toes and get them ready for the mean streets of whatever city you're in, my anonymous friend. But yeah, I'm sorry people aren't letting you in the house. Maybe make the shoes a day before, let them dry out a bit into like sort of hard peat slabs, and then wear them like clogs. Maybe that could do you. Who knows? Right, dear Big Tasty, my friends in Boom Boom Raccoon have told me to eat the rich, but I'm not sure if this is vegan or not. It may be a sweeping generalization, but given their actions on the world stage, I am unsure if rich people demonstrate sentience or if they experience pain or suffering. It's an interesting point. If it is vegan to eat rich people, do you have any preparations suggestions to reduce the bitter taste of privilege and make them a more palatable meal? Hungrily yours, Jimmy C. Hello, Jimmy C. Right, so there's a couple questions all loaded in here, and it ends with another food-related questions. So I'm going to quickly moisten my palate to get ready for this. Hold on one second. Just like that ASMR, water sipping ASMR. Maybe I'll stick that on the old Patreon. Maybe that's how I'll start making more of a living from this. Not to sidetrack real quick, but if you listen to the show and you want to check out the Patreon, now's a really good time to check it out. I really am going to try and start putting more content on there, and this month was our lowest Patreon for a while. I feel like because of everyone's money is tight at the minute, so people are kind of stopping, and I totally understand that and stuff, but if you fancy jumping back on, it would really help me out, and I'm going to try and put more stuff up there. Anyway, that was a complete mind fart, but anyway, so Boom Boom Raccoon told you to eat the rich. I don't think that they're sentient in the same way that we're sentient. Or maybe they are sentient but just full of hate. But then again, would you eat an animal that was full of hate? Would you start? Would that mean that wasps aren't vegan? Does that mean that man o' war jellyfish aren't vegan? Could you eat those? What other animals are full of hate? Stork, what are they called? Those proper scary storks. There's something build stork, the one that looks like a really angry cartoon stork is going to fuck you up. I can't remember the name of him now. I'll Google it when I can be fucked. But they're full of hate. Does that mean you could eat them because they're not vegan? Because it's still technically meat, right? They walk around and they make noises. They moo in a sense when the shit comes out of their mouth. That could be construed as animal noises. So I feel like they're not vegan. I feel. But maybe we can, if they haven't got anything positive to add to the world, maybe we can make an exception, like eating wasps and horribly venomous jellyfish. Or if there was maybe a species of cat maybe that were Nazis, maybe we could eat them. I don't know why I went with cat. I don't know why I could have chosen a more farmable animal. I feel like you couldn't really farm a cat. Maybe like a turkey. If turkeys were inherently inclined to agree with the Nazi regime, could we eat a turkey? Would that succeed its place in the moral compass of vegans? I'm not quite sure, but let's just say that they are vegan. How would I remove the bitterness from them? Now, there's a great documentary on YouTube, Vice did, about a guy in Cornwall who happens to be Dave from Rash's godfather, and he eats roadkill. And there's a bit where he talks about how he had this ferret or something that he found roadkill, and they stink really bad, because ferrets have that weird piss aroma, and it was all rotten and stuff. So he said the way he got rid of that stink was he put it in running water for a week, and it kind of stripped it of all its nasty funk. And it became sort of more edible. And I know a lot of people do that with there's tribes who they harvest dead poisonous root veg and stuff, or they got berries that have got cyanide in them, and what they do is they mulch them down and they put them in running water, and it just kind of bleeds it all out and makes it edible. So maybe what we could do is we could get a Tory, skin the cunt, sort of attach it to various pieces of string, put it in a stream or a river, and just let the water purify them until they become, the bitterness kind of fades away from, because of their horrible outlook on life. And then we could just sweeten it with your favourite barbecue sauce, perhaps, or rub. You could maybe pre-brine it. So we've ran it in a river for a while, got the funk out. Now we're gonna give it a couple of days in a lovely brine, and then we're gonna season it, smoke it, pull the meat so it's all tender, add in your favourite barbecue sauce, and you've got yourself a sort of well prepared, takes a few steps, but maybe it's worth it, sustainable, until Tories sort of catch on they're being munched down, and then maybe they'll, start pretending that they're not Tories, Just like the Nazis when they were taken by the CIA and put into NASA, maybe they'll just be like, yeah, that wasn't me, that's not me. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that was a helpful bit of advice. Dear Big Tasty, my cat was attacked by something last night and he's not come out of hiding since. I'm absolutely sick with worry. He doesn't seem to have any visible injuries. He's eating alright and he's letting me pet him, but he's acting so strange. He's everything to me and I'm really afraid something is wrong with him, but everyone is saying he's probably just scared. I can't shake the feeling that something might be wrong. Should I go with my gut and take him to the vet? No, I did respond to this and said absolutely, yeah, you should take him to the vet. To me, it just sounds like, he's just a bit traumatized. He's in shock. Maybe, he's just feeling a little bit distrustful of the world. We can all feel that way sometimes. Sometimes when life strikes out on us, we hide ourselves away. Let's say you've had a really bad day at work, or someone was mean to you, or you had a falling out with your friend. Sometimes it's a natural kind of response to that kind of trauma is to kind of isolate yourself, hide away, put yourself in bed, spend the day on the sofa in a duvet playing video games. You don't want to face the world. I feel like maybe this is your cat's way of kind of isolating themselves and kind of hiding away for a bit until they can kind of face the reality of what happened again. Either that or they've been possessed by a demon. That's why they don't feel just right. Maybe what attacked them was the disembodied soul of a demonic spirit, like called Pazuzu, and it's now inhabited the body of your cat and needs to be cleansed. Maybe we need to take your cat down to the nearest temple, find a holy man to bless him with various salts and liquids and salves to get this devil out your cat, and he can go back to ruining all your clothes with cat hair. That second one was a joke, by the way. I'm trying to make light of it, but yeah, I think there's no harm can be done by just taking it to the vet anyway. Maybe they need some kind of medicine, some anti-anxiety, something, or maybe they've been scratched somewhere. I would say, yeah, definitely take the cat to the vet. That's what I would say. Now, I'm going to quickly thank my Patreons for this month. So thank you to SJ, Aidan, Sean, Adam, James, Kate, Christiane, Froggy, Spoolbags, Tim, Alex Sniff, Jochen, CB, Fee and Peg, Rory, EJ, Mark, David, Will, Sarah, Matt, Ollie, Alex, Chrisdale, Caroline, Dave, Will, and Cody. Thank you to Cold Press CBD. Go to cold-press.io and use code Simon10, all caps, to get 10% off your first month's order of vegan CBD gummy bears. Now, unlike Tories, these are definitely vegan, and they actually reduce stress instead of increase it hugely with horrible cost of living problems. They're lovely. I love these guys. They often send me emails just letting me know that they appreciate working with me, and it always sort of fills my heart with joy because we're still a small time show, and like they're not like a sponsorship like other podcasts have, or like NordVPN or fucking Raid Shadow Legends or something. But I feel really proud that this little independent company that I think are doing something good and offering a good product are happy working with this little small town boy, and I really like work with them too, and they send me lots of goodies, and it really has positively affected my life. Taking these gummies, I feel like the stress and anxiety kind of like it just gets sucked out of me sometimes. When I'm feeling really bad, I'll just like chew on a few of them. I don't know if it's just the placebo effect of having a nice sweet chewy gummy thing to distract my brain, but I generally feel like it does help, so that's nice. Right, dear Big Tasty, how do I increase my confidence on stage? Now, I feel like it's difficult. I think you have to kind of tackle what it is you're feeling insecure about that's making you not confident about being on stage. Whether that, are you worried about how people are going to judge how you look? Are you worried about your performance? Are you worried about feeling unimportant? You have to really look first at what you're not confident about, so you can kind of try to erase those things or tackle those things to find the confidence. for the longest time, for years, I felt I didn't feel very confident about how I looked on stage, because I was always thinking people were going to be laughing at me because I was because of my weight, or laughing at me because of like my hair or the faces I pull, or when I was dealing with my blindness, maybe they were laughing at me because I couldn't see, or because I was wearing an eye patch, or maybe I was like looking off into the distance and looking weird. Sometimes I used to have like really bad lazy eyes in all my band pictures because when I'm on stage I was focusing and I wasn't focusing on trying to keep my eyes straight, which is something I had to do during my sort of time of blindness. So that was something I was really not confident with, and I found one day I just had this sort of thought, kind of discussion with myself. I was like, okay, well, why do I care about what people think? And I was like, well, because I want people to think I'm attractive and cute, and I don't want all the cute people in the audience to like not want to be with me. And I was like, well, do I actually want to be with any of them? No. Then why do I care? And it was like a little moment of like, well, yeah, I don't care actually. I'm there to play. I'm not there to hook up with anybody, and I wouldn't anyway. But I was so worried about not looking presentable for people that it was like messing with how I was playing, because I was so focused on how I was looking instead of how I was playing. And that was a big sort of like moment to me, where it was like, no, I don't actually care about that. I don't care about that. And then all of a sudden I felt this sort of boost of comfort on stage, where I could like take my shirt off. Like I would always be so hot, like sweating to the point where I felt I was going to pass out, but I would never take my shirt off because I was like so worried that people in the audience would think I was ugly because of my weight, because of my stretch marks. And then one day, when I had that realization of like, well, actually I don't care, then all of a sudden I could take my shirt off, and then it was like, this huge like weight was lifted from me. So I think if you're feeling maybe unconfident about your performance, I'd say just like maybe like turn your back for a bit, play to the drummer, play to the bandmates, pretend no one's there, pretend you're in practice. When you're in practice, maybe like pretend you're playing to loads of people. Get yourself used to the idea of everyone's there to see you. Get used to the idea that everyone's come to watch you because they want to be entertained by you. They're not there to judge you, they're there to be entertained, so entertain them. Be yourself. I know that's not maybe the advice you were looking for, I'm not too sure, but that's what I would say. I would say just like really try and focus on what it is that's making you feel unconfident, and then we can tackle it from another standpoint. Right. Dear Big Tasty, have you got any tips on giving up booze? And the same question with weed. Is it possible to give up everything at once? I've fallen into the pattern of abusing the one when I'm steering clear from the other, and I have never gone over 9 months without relapsing because of something stupid like a festival or a birthday. Now, once again, just like the question beforehand, I think the only way you can really tackle something like this is to figure out what it is that triggers this kind of codependency. Like, what is it that makes you drink? What is it that makes you smoke? Like, are you drinking because it's a social thing? Are you smoking because it's like an anxiety thing? It's a sleep thing? You use it as like a kind of coping mechanism for other things? Like, I know this is kind of it's a deep kind of tricky question, but like when I got sober, I knew in my heart that being drunk and being high was not my default setting. It was not what my brain wanted. It was not what it needed. I was doing it to try and fit into a puzzle piece that I felt I needed to fit into, but that wasn't the puzzle piece that I was. I was something else, and I needed to stop being a smooth edge and start being a hard edge. I'm a hard edge, I'm a corner, but I was trying to be a smooth edge in the middle, trying to fit in, and that wasn't the case, and I just needed to remove myself from the middle and go to the edge. Like, I needed to find my place in the puzzle. And the only way I could do that was by erasing that performative part of my brain that was like, I'm going to get drunk and I'm going to get high because that's what people want. So it was fairly easy for me to come to that realization because I knew that I was doing it just because I felt like I had to. But it's not as easy as all that for other people. People smoke to to sleep. People smoke to get the courage to go out. People smoke because it's the only way they can turn their brain off, because their mind is so fucking busy all the time, shouting at them, trying to deal with anxieties, ADHD, anything. So I think you have to try and find what it is that the drink and the smoke is covering up for. If you drink because of certain trauma, I think you need to deal with that trauma before you can tackle stopping, because you can't just let's just say you're trying to learn how to ride a bike, and you got training wheels on, and no matter how hard you try, you just can't ride your bike without your training wheels. You're never going to learn how to. If you just take the training wheels off and just keep riding until you and falling over and riding and falling over and riding and falling over, you're never going to learn. You're just going to resent having to ride without any wheels, and you're just going to keep going back to the wheels. You have to find out what it is you're doing wrong, so that, or not what you're doing wrong, or what's wrong about your balance on the bike, before you can take the training wheels off, and then finally be able to go forward safely. You can't just keep taking them off and expecting it to just work. You have to figure it out. So I feel like I'm rambling here. So I would say, really, really try to look inwards. If you have the ability to get maybe talk to a counsellor or a therapist about this, and really dig deep on what it is that you're using this as a blanket for, and then go from there. As much as it was easy for me to go cold turkey and everything, but it sounds like it's not as cut and dry for you, and it's not for a lot of people as well. So that's how I would approach it. Just kind of figure out, why do I do these things, why is it I need to do this thing, and then tackle one and then do the other. Maybe stop drinking, find sobriety with that, and then once you've gone to a point where your body's I don't need that shit anymore, and then you can go focus on the other thing. Don't take away all your supports at once, because it's just it's not going to be good for you. I mean, in the long run it will be, but you need to look after yourself. I hope that made sense. I feel like I rambled a lot there, and I know that's just a long-winded way of me being maybe you should get some therapy and then you'll figure it out. But I really do feel like people stumble a lot because they feel like they can just stop. They can just stop doing something. Whether that's doesn't even have to equate to drinking or drugging. That could be unhealthy eating habits. That could be unhealthy kind of sexual habits. Putting yourself in harm's way, overspending. Anything like that. That's that people use as coping mechanisms for other bad parts of their life, and they think that they can just stop it, but it's never going to go away until they really figure out the root cause of what's triggering them to need to approach these things for comfort and distraction. So I feel, try and look inwards, find what causes it, tackle that, and then go for the big challenge. And I believe in you. I really believe you can do this. Hopefully it goes well for you. Feel free to message me anytime if you want more advice on this. I'm not a specialist, but I've been clean and sober for 12 plus years now, so I know how to not drink and smoke something. So if you need advice on how not to drink and smoke something, I'll tell you that. But that also works for, like I said, any kind of other addictions or cruxes in life. Dear Big Tasty, if it bleeds, should we kill it? # save the predator. I feel like in those Predator films, it was very clear that they weren't just mindless killers, right? It was sport. It was just a sport for them, and they only really attacked those that had weapons, right? They never went for just innocent victims. It was always they went for whoever was deemed fair and sportly killings, such as Arnie with his gun or whoever it was. And I think in the latest Prey film, the main antagonist sort of realizes that, it only comes for me when I've got a weapon, so I'm going to try and lure it out and stuff. So I think if it in terms of the Predator, I feel like yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not nice being hunted and stuff, but I feel like maybe, you wouldn't go kill a lion for catching a zebra, would you? It's like the circle of life. If every few hundred years a soldier gets murked in the jungle, maybe you shouldn't be walking around the jungle with a fucking machine gun. That's all I'm saying. It's just the cycle of life. Like, we all go to, it's in the history of mankind. We all go to different countries and continents in the aim of conquest, and no one says shit about that. But then one alien comes down in a sort of what's it called, like a neon goth fucking vest shirt and a mask on and some dreadlocks, kills one too many soldiers, and all of a sudden we're trying to fucking blast it down with the world's hottest Gatling gun with Jesse Ventura holding it. I feel like that's unnecessary. Just, maybe just put the gun down and then maybe it won't fucking come hunting for you. Ever think of that? Yeah. So if it bleeds, I don't think we should kill it. I think we should just let it be. Dear Big Tasty, I'm worried that I've lost momentum in my creative pursuits, partly for nice reasons like going out and doing more activities in person. Any tips on facing my old projects and finishing them off? I think, it is good that you've dropped the projects for more social activities, because if you think about it, a lot of the projects you started were during the lockdown when we were sort of forced into this solitude, and now you're kind of making up for lost time, going to shows, meeting friends, going out on lovely friend dates, maybe romantic dates. I think you should kind of give yourself a little bit of leeway here to dropping those products and in just enjoying being social. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are crafters, some people are, social butterflies, some people are both. And at the minute, you come out of your chrysalis and you're flying around with your lovely, bright, beautiful, colourful wings, and, there'll be a time and place to go back to the cocoon and do some crafting. I think if you're actively feeling like you need to start your projects up again, maybe look into what you've got kind of left over, lay them out on the floor in front of you, inspect your previous work, let yourself get excited. Sometimes when I'm painting miniatures and I kind of put the brush down and it's been a while, I'll pick up what I've already painted and look at the details I've done, and it kind of will spur me on to fix little problems. And then once the paint is out, all of a sudden I'm doing more again. So maybe pick up whatever it is, cross stitching, knitting, painting, sketching, sculpting. Pick it up, look at what you've done previously, not from a standpoint of I'm going to do this. Just pick it up and inspect what you've done, enjoy what you've already done for the project, and you might find that a little spark will ignite in your brain that thinks, oh, let me just fix this one little bit, and then boom, you're back into the momentum of doing it. Dear Big Tasty, I'm concerned that my lack of skill and practice is hindering my ambitions to play bass on stage. How many distortions pedals do I need to stack so nobody notices? For one, you don't need to have skill or practice to like play bass on stage. You just need the fucking can-do attitude and the confidence to fucking do it and not care. Like, you know, and obviously, like, we want to do good at what we do. We want to perform at a high level, but like, I think just fucking do it, man. Just fucking get out there. Like, stop putting so much pressure on yourself and just go out there and have fun. You know, it's all about having fun. We're not out here doing. It's not a ballet. You know, fucking being in metal bands and punk bands is more like a street fight than a ballet. You know, it's dirty and it's grimy and it's painful sometimes, but it's exciting. So I in terms of like distortions, you just stack. I'd say just two. Get one sort of baseline distortion that's your sort of your sound, your main sound, and then get one that you can kick in when you need to proper melt people's brains and scramble their bowls. Like with Monolithian, it's like my bass tone comes from my 2 amps, and then I have an overdrive that goes on top of that to add extra boof. So I'd say just two. Get a nice grunty growl, and then one that will rip some fucking uteruses open afterwards. Dear Big Tasty, do you have any tips on finding balance between multiple creative outlets and work and home life without burnout? Now, this is something that I need advice on myself, to be honest, because I've put myself in a bad situation and I've been hurting. I've been really struggling lately with this same thing because I work long hours. I'm in 4 bands, and I have hobbies outside of that, such as D&D. That I do multiple times a week, and I've found that I just don't have time anymore. Like I've swallowed up all of my time. So it'd be like, Monday nights Monday I have day off. In the day I'm sorting out home shit, and then in the evening I have band practice. Tuesday I have work, and then in the evening I have D&D. Wednesday I have a day off, but I'll go and visit my parents, and then in the evening I have band practice. And then on Thursdays I work like 13 hours, and then Fridays I have a day off, but then in the evening I normally have a gig, which means travelling there. Saturday the same kind of deal. Sunday I have D&D and work, so it's like all of a sudden every day is swallowed up, and I've been sort of really struggling with like this lack of time for myself or time to do other projects. I've like filled myself up with so many projects that now I feel like I've stifled my own creativity because now I've choked myself out with obligations of creation on almost every single day, and now I'm finding it hard to find the balance to create something new, because how can I create something new if I'm tied down to one certain thing? So, if I were to, I guess let's try and look at it from advice from the outsider looking in. I think maybe prioritize what's the more important bits, like, because it is like work the most important thing? Is writing the most important bit? Is like playing shows the most important thing? Which gives you the most joy? And then you know where to put your energy. Like if playing shows brings you the most joy, then you can focus like 50% of your energy into playing shows. Then say work brings you the second most amount of joy, then you can try and focus like 20% of your energy into that, and then 20% into this, and then try and find that. I don't know. I feel like that's not a good answer. I think just because this question hits so close to home for me right now, I'm finding it hard to give the appropriate advice because I need the advice for myself. Maybe we'll open this up to the listeners. If anyone listening to this has any advice on how to sort of compartmentalize these different parts of your life into a place where you can kind of easily find some time and get out of burnout, then give us a shout, because I'll be fucked if I know, and I think this listener could do with the same advice. Right, one more question and then we'll end it for today, because this has gone quite long. I feel like I've been rambling. My mouth is drier than a fucking camel's cunt. Dear Big Tasty, I chose shoes for poos, and initially everything was going great. My first shoe poos were a knitted pair of baby booties. They slid right out, and I even had a ready-to-go gift for my cousin's baby shower. However, my poos have grown progressively bigger. Now I'm shitting out full new rocks with every bowel movement. I've been selling the shoes online, but all the money goes to my medical bills. My ass can't take this, man. I've seen multiple doctors and even more specialists. No one knows what to do. Please help. Signed, Anal Trauma. I feel like, you're reaping what you sow. You chose to shit out the shoes, and at first everything seemed fine, like you said, but then I guess the reality of your decision is finally setting in. Doctors don't know what to do, because this is a fate given to you by the mystical arts of rhetorical question, and there are no real rules that can be determined by medical science and how to fix this. This is purely universal shenanigans at work here. I feel like the only thing you can really do is I think maybe you might need to get some surgery, perhaps remove part of your colon and get yourself like a stoma, but like a big one. Maybe see if they can make it real big for you so that the shoes kind of drop out like a conveyor belt. You know, like when you go to Argos and you order something and it comes out of that mysterious hole in the wall on like the sliding roller conveyor belt. Maybe they could install one of those into like a stoma so it comes out of your tummy and not out of your bum hole, because they obviously, when they give you the stoma, they get all the nerve endings out too, so it doesn't really hurt. It just kind of plops out when your body wants it out. You know, there's no squeezing or pushing or nothing. So you'll have like this, internal Argos warehouse that kind of shits out the boots and shoes on the conveyor belt. And maybe, you know, that'll be nicer for you. With the shoe, you feel the boots drop into your little stoma bag, you empty them out, clean it off, put it on eBay, and then maybe you can start looking at some nice profit, you know. Because once the bag's in there, the only thing you're really paying for is replacement bags, and every now and then them come in because, you know, like you're shitting out a new rock and it's got like it's got a spiky shoelace holder that maybe gets snagged on part of your lower intestine, and you maybe need to get that stitched up. But, you know, I feel like you've done the right thing by making a business out of your shoe shites, but I feel like you need to try and figure out how you can do this long term, and I feel like just trying to put like a plaster over it isn't going to do much. You have to go for full body modification here and get like a conveyor belt put inside your arsehole or outside of a stoma bag, so the shoes can be delivered like the world's smoothest birth. You know, the baby just slips out and everything's healthy, but a fucking motorcycle going by, but the baby is a shoe and the birth is from an artificial asshole that's been installed in your stomach, and then you can sell them on eBay. I'm sure there's some people that would pay extra if they knew how the footwear was brought into being. I feel like a few people would be like, oh yeah, oh baby, give me that shit shoe, man. Oh, I want a piece of that. So that's always an option. That would be my advice on that. But on that horrifying note, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope I didn't ramble too incoherently, and I hope that there was some nuggets of actual wisdom in what I said that can be used in your day-to-day life. I'll probably do another one of these in a few months because I do enjoy them, and sometimes when life gets hard, like we were saying, when you got so much stuff going on, sometimes it's just easy to sit down and just try and right some wrongs in the comfort of my own office chair, in my pants. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I have a ball bag hanging out right now, and I need to detach it from my leather office chair. So I'm going to do that now that this episode is over. So thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully I'll see you at some of the shows coming up. And take it easy. And I love you very much. Look after yourselves. Be safe. Bye-bye. Hey guys, it's me, Big Tasty. I just wanted to say cheers for listening to this week's episode, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed making it. Now, if you feel so inclined, you should come check out my Patreon page. You can sign up for as little as £1 a month, and you get weekly exclusive video tier lists and monthly mail-outs with things such as stickers and fabric patches, zines and art prints. Hey, and if you can't spare the money right now, I totally understand. No pressure. I'm going to keep making episodes regardless, but if you can support financially, it really helps the show. Just keep moving on. And then another way you can help is just to follow us on stuff like Twitter and Instagram at Seaburn Podcast, and share it around to people that you think might like this filthy shit. Anyway, love you guys, appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.